to the EC's statement that is issued in response to comments they attribute to the former person. What do you make of the responses they gave?
Hello, Senator, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you clearly. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I can hear you. I lost you for a little bit. Sorry.
Okay. So I was asking, you read through the statement yourself. I've also gone through it further. What do you make of the EC's response to the issues raised by former President John Dramani Mahama?
Thank you very much, Senator. Once again, let me say good morning to the cherished listeners of Radio Gold. I think that the response is very unfortunate. It is not professional. It doesn't speak to the concerns raised by former President JDM. Senator, I think that in short, what I would say is that President Mahama is raising concerns of lack of transparency with regards to the operations of the Electoral Commission as long as the upcoming election is concerned. And therefore, as a former president, definitely he sits at a place where he gets a lot of intel, and you cannot, discount or discard whatever that he says. I think that it would be better for the Electoral Commission to just listen and in a more professional way find ways to engage the former president and get where he's coming from. But rather, they've drifted from the main point and they are trying to, discuss other matters that the former president has not raised. The issue had absolutely nothing to do with the number of people that were registered during the last election. It had nothing to do with cost. It had nothing to do with, all the other things that they talked about. President Mahama was very emphatic that information reaching him suggests that the processes are not being transparent, that politicians, especially the incumbents, right, are using their powers to push in their people to serve in various capacities, such as, returning officers, etc., etc. But to go to the extent of an electoral commission even saying that when President Mahama was in office and, he appointed other persons, other political parties did not raise concerns. Is the Electoral Commission the spokesperson for political parties? Therefore, why would they not address the issue? Why would they not assure the former president, but rather choose to go on this route? It raises more questions then, that clearly there may be something that calls for everyone to pay attention to. That is what I get from what, the response that the Electoral Commission produced. It's most unfortunate. It is very, very unfortunate. An issue of transparency has been raised. Former President Mahama is a key stakeholder. He is the presidential candidate for the NDC and has every right to voice out his concerns. And as an electoral commissioner, your role is to engage, but not to stand elsewhere and throw in propaganda and try to discredit what the former president has said without providing any assurance. So, Senator, that's what I would say with regards to this particular issue.
So the approach for you was wrong, but they also have an issue with the fact that they feel that the former president is using every platform available to him to discredit the Electoral Commission, and they feel that that should not be done by the former president.
Well, Senator, I believe that if you decide to carry out a poll or you walk out of Radio Gold and you ask any Ghanaian that between former President Mahama and the Electoral Commissioner, who would you trust or who do you trust? The answer would be obvious. The answer would be obvious. The current Electoral Commissioner has not lived up to expectation, and she's aware of it. If we are to use the 2020 election as the yardstick, she will not pass in terms of trust. She will not pass in terms of transparency. Therefore, she is the last person to be out there speaking the way she's handling this particular issue. Listen, were we all not here when the 2020 election came out? How many times did she announce the results? How many times did she announce the results? with all the discrepancies, with all the comments from Bossman and the rest of them, what did she do about it? With all the concerns that the NDC raised, what did she do about it? Nothing. All the way from Ayawaso. So President Mahama has every right to criticize and raise concerns with regards to how the Electoral Commission or the commissioner is running the place.
I see. But you also have you even have further issues with the Electoral Commission, specifically on the issue of the machines that they now admit disappeared. In fact, they are prosecuting people for actually stealing those machines. Subsequent to the concerns that were raised and the prosecution that is happening, is the prosecution of the people, the fact that they found the people behind this and perhaps taking them through the law, adequate enough for you?
Well, Senator, this particular issue, it is very, very sensitive. It has various dimensions. Once again, it raises issue of transparency. We are talking of missing devices. These are devices that were used to capture data. These are devices that were used to capture information of Ghanaians. And for some bizarre reasons, these items are missing. Usually, equipment of these natures are kept in a very sensitive room where it is not open to, anybody, unless you've been authorized, unless you have that mandate to go in there for whatever purposes. I strongly believe that it is under surveillance of your CCTV camera. And aside that, you have some watchmen being around, whatever, considering how, sensitive that particular room would be. So for these items to get lost and the Electoral Commission not coming out swiftly to tell the stakeholders, i.e. even to call an IPAC meeting and keep them posted that said, hey, we have an emergency, we've lost a couple of devices, and therefore these are the processes that, we've started to ensure that we bring sanity and protect whatever that we have. They never did that. It took the NDC to raise this, to raise the alarm. The Electoral Commission tried to downplay it at first. They even tried to deny it, and later came back and admitted and started giving excuses. Senna, these devices, they have unique IDs. They should have no business anywhere near the database of the Electoral Commission. 2, these devices, if it's in the hands of wrong persons, they can use it to hack the system. They can use it to breach the data. They can use it to hurt the integrity and the credibility of the database, i.e. the voters register. Okay, it can lead to data manipulation where it can cause persons to be able to do double, triple, and even quadruple voting. So this issue is a very sensitive matter that we have to delve into it to the core. It is not a matter of who you claim that you've apprehended. It is not a matter of who you take into whatever process. It's very technical. And therefore, some of us will look at it from a technical perspective. Okay? You would have the Electoral Commission to prove that indeed they are being transparent. They would have to open that infrastructure. They would have to invite an independent audit system persons to go and audit the system and tell us what it is. Because first and foremost, the Electoral Commissioner was not transparent enough with Ghanaians. It took the NDC for them to come out to speak. And since it's a technical matter, it requires technical eye to be able to tell what has really happened. If somebody elsewhere remotely has the capacity to get into the system, has these devices been completely taken off the domain of the Electoral Commission? We don't know. So all the ones that they are talking about, I will consider them as extras. We're not interested. What we are interested in are where are the devices? Have they been taken off completely from the infrastructure?
Okay.
What are the unique IDs that they have? And how do we ensure that no one will get these systems and be able to use it to hack the mainframe of the Electoral Commission? That is what is most important. Whether the BNI has picked certain individuals and blah, 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 it is of no relevance to as long as our data integrity is concerned. This is how important this issue is.
On the question of whether it can be used, because you talk about these equipments being used to hack, to breach the system, to hack the system. The Electoral Commission insists that these are kits. In fact, in the case of the BVR, they say it's a kit. So which means is that there are different components. What the person has taken is the laptop. That the person does not have the camera and the fingerprint scanner among others, so they are not able to use it for anything. Does that not address your issue?
No. We're talking of a machine with a storage. That is what we're talking about. They are discussing input-output devices. Where I am dwelling much on the storage device that have been used to capture information. That these devices have names. That means that it has relationship with the database of the Electoral Commission. That's the servers that they have there. The servers would recognize these devices. That's what it means. These devices would recognize the server that they have there. And therefore, if somebody has it, right, all the credentials, the bits and pieces of information is all that is needed for any hacker to be able to hop into that system. So the Electoral Commission cannot throw dust in our eyes. Let it look like we don't know what we are talking about. Once again, the Electoral Commission must open their infrastructure for the key stakeholders to investigate this matter and see how transparent it is. That has anything been breached? What are the potential threats? These are the things that we are raising concerns about. What they are telling us is not accurate. It's not substantive enough for anyone to say that, well, this system is secure enough or this system cannot be compromised. And the Electoral Commission should know better. The head of IT is supposed to come out and speak on this matter and provide adequate updates. And that's why we support the concept of having an independent audit in this matter. So we can settle and know where we are at this moment. But as of now, it is still not clear with regards to the missing devices and the potential of getting into wrong hands and using it to breach the data that the Electoral Commission has.
You want to listen to the person in charge of IT. His assurances and
yes.
Not only assurances, the person must demonstrate to you that the Electoral Commission has not been badly exposed by this theft.
So now we need to ask questions such as, do you have the unique IDs or the serial numbers of these devices? What were they connected to? What work were they used for? We need to know all this information. And how do we ensure that these devices do not fall in wrong hands so that any, hacker can use to hop into the system? They need to provide us all these assurances. And it is not just a word of mouth. That whole architecture must be seen by an independent body. And I believe that political parties must be invited also to see what they have in there, because they are key stakeholders. And at this moment, you need the trust of every stakeholder in this matter. But considering past record or past history, this is not enough to tell anybody that we are good to go, so everybody should go to sleep. No. We are still naked as long as the Electoral Commission's database is concerned, because devices are missing, and these devices have been used to capture information of Ghanaians. Is somebody using it elsewhere to capture information that we don't know, Senna? Is somebody using it remotely to update the system that we don't know? We have to figure all these things out. So that's where we're coming from.
I see.
This issue is it's a very important matter.
Well, let me conclude on this by asking you what your impressions of the outdooring of your running mate was, the speech you delivered, and what happened about 2 days ago. Yeah, what do you think?
Well, Senna, it was a very colorful event, excellent delivery. I would say that it's that type of speech that you deliver at Congress and you have the whole congressman standing and clapping and clapping and clapping because it's very captivating. It touches on every facet of the lives of Ghanaians. And I would say that Professor Jenano Pokwajiman has proven once again that she knows what she's about. That everything that we know about her is exactly what it is and even more. The way she dazzled, the way she addressed Ghanaians, the way she spoke on issues, Senna, I believe that others would have to learn from her. I believe that she's brought in that energy, that era where we will begin to hear more of what matters, what is true, what is critical, what is progressive, rather than the mere propaganda that we've been hearing. I strongly believe that Baumia will learn lessons as to how to speak in public, how to be truthful, and how to be sincere with Ghanaians. Senna, we all know what Prof brings to the table. She's an institutionalist. She's built institutions. She's made institutions work. She's built human capacities over the years, local and abroad, highly respected. I believe that there's no challenge that she would face as a vice president that she may have not seen before. And as she stated, her loyalty will never be questioned. She has proven also, Senna, that if given the chance as a woman, as a lady, as a female, right, she can be the role model for other women to look up to. And with the way she's carried herself over the years, I think that it is an era where, women should be proud of themselves and consider this moment as the time where they can all come together and show their solidarity to one of their own. Prof is not just the ordinary woman, she's an exceptional woman. She's taught people from all walks of life, both local and then abroad. She's met and served on different boards. She's addressed all type of issues, and she's been very, very successful at it. So, such a person, Senna, if you have her as an advisor, as the head of an economic management team, as someone who is sitting in for a president, you can best believe that based on these rich experiences that she has, she will make the right decisions. She's well cultured. You see the way she talks? You can tell that a woman of substance is speaking. It is not the political rhetoric. So for me, Senna, if you ever, had any doubt or once upon a time became nervous as to whether the NDC can step up to the plate and handle the mess that the NPP will leave behind, I will tell you that the NDC do have the men and the women, and they've started showing it. And Prof is a clear example of someone that when she is in the helm of affairs, the truth would be out. Common sense would be out. Pragmatic measures will be taken and solutions will be found to the problems of Ghana. So for me, in a short statement, that is what I would say with regards to the outdoor of Professor Jenano Pokwajiman.
Arnold, thank you very much for speaking to us this morning.
Thank you for having me, Senna. Have a good morning.
You too. Arnold Appiah joined us all the way from the US. He's the NDC ProForum US president, joined us this morning to discuss, among other things, the Electoral Commission and other issues.